Students, today's video session we will discuss about introduction of force and how Newton have got equation for force, and I'll just give you introduction to foundation of Newton laws of motion. So we will be first learning few examples. From the examples, I will be bringing you the definitions of force and I'll be introducing subject from the examples. So if the examples are clear, then you can understand the concept clearly. So let me start with. So this is the first slide of the lecture, where you could see a ball which is on the horizontal surface. This is horizontal surface. On this horizontal surface, you have a ball, and when you want to move this ball, does it move by itself? Obviously not. You need to provide some external agent, external force for this body in order to move it, right? Now, for example, I am pushing this object. This ball has some mass m, say it be 5 kg. You have a ball, and that ball is placed on the horizontal surface, and this ball is being pushed by a force of like you are pushing this ball by some external agent. You are taking your hand and you are pushing it. As a result, this body, the ball which is placed at the position A, will be displaced and it come to the new position. This will be the new position of the ball, right? That is the new position of the ball, and it attain point B. Okay, so when you are applying a pull or a push upon your body, there is some displacement caused in the body. Displacement is from here to here, that is yes. There is some movement, there is some motion in the body. So in the previous chapter in kinematics, we did not discuss about this external agent. This is the actual cause of motion, is it not? This is actual cause of motion. If you are not pushing or pulling the body, this body would remain as it is in its own position A. But when you are applying some force by an external agent, force can be any force. You may push it, you may pull it somehow. Because of that, this mass 5 kg is having some displacement and it have reached from position A to position B. In the previous chapters, we are only concerned with this displacement, how much displacement it is taking, and in how much time it is traveling. Displacement by time gives you velocity. Velocity by time gives you acceleration. And we have got equations of motion for these all. Relation between displacement, velocity, time, and as well as acceleration. We have got equations for those all. In the previous chapter, like from last few days, like in the last previous video lectures, we have only learnt about this part where the body is having some displacement in particular time. Corresponding to that, it will have some velocity and as well as acceleration, without actually defining the cause of the motion. Without actually learning about cause of the motion, we have only learned about motion of the body, displacement, velocity, acceleration, time taken, and we have got all those relations. This part comes under kinematics. This part under kinematics. Again, in kinematics, we have different things like motion in straight line, that is 1D, motion in 2 dimension, that is 2D. This part is completed, which we have already discussed in the previous video lectures. Now coming to this cause of motion. So why this body 5 kg mass is displacing from A to B, who is responsible for that? You are responsible because you are pushing this body. So a push is responsible or cause of motion. Is it not? If you are not pushing this body, it would remain there itself in the position A for longer duration, 1 day, 2 days, 10 days, 1 year. That body would remain in its own position. But because you are pushing this body, therefore it is displacing from position A to B. And if you are putting greater efforts on this body, then it would displace up to position C. Still, if you are putting greater efforts upon this body, then it would displace up to position D. Therefore, the motion of the body is depending upon the external agent, which is push and pull of a body, which is defined as causing of the motion. In this chapter, we will be learning about cause of the motion, who is responsible for motion of this body, why this body is moving, in which direction it is moving, and about different types of cause of motion. We have different types of cause, like we have mechanical force, we have electrostatic force, we have magnetic force. Different force can apply upon this body which is placed at position A. Therefore, we will be learning about causing, we will be learning about cause of the motion in this chapter, which we generally push or pull, that is responsible for motion of the body, and that push or pull is simply defined as force in your early standards. Combining this part, combining kinematics with cause of the motion becomes dynamics. So overall, studying about this total, studying about combination of this all, like cause of the motion and as well as displacement of the body, becomes dynamics, right? So dynamics is branch of mechanics, or dynamics is the part of mechanics which deals with motion of the body and also the cause of motion of the body. So in dynamics, you will be learning about cause of the motion and motion of the body. Both you will combine and you will be learning. Whereas learning only about motion is kinematics. So in this chapter, what we will do, we will be adding some more extra concepts for kinematics. So for this kinematics part, we will be adding force. Therefore, force along with discussion of kinematics become dynamics. Clear? So how can you define dynamics? Dynamics is the part of mechanics which deals with motion of body with reference to cause of the motion, with reference to external force. Okay, so dynamics is part of mechanics. Dynamics is part of mechanics which deals with motion and cause of the motion, right? So dynamics is part of mechanics which deals with motion and also cause of the motion. That is the introduction about cause of the motion. Yeah, students, as we have discussed, so the body which is at position A, when you are applying an external force, that body would displace from position A to position B. It will come to this position, new position. Okay. Observing this, Aristotle, which is Aristotle is considered as father of physics in his era. So Aristotle have given a conclusion that every object has a neutral state. What is neutral state? Neutral state is nothing but equilibrium state. equilibrium state. Equilibrium state in the sense, like, if you are not applying any force, that body would remain as it is in its own position. It neither move, it will not be displaced from one point to other point. So therefore every body generally will be in its neutral state, and in neutral motion, earth elements of the earth are stone, apple, whatever objects which are present on the earth surface are drawn to the earth. Like, for example, this is earth here. Now here is a body. This body is neutral. That means there is no external force which you are acting upon it. As it is neutral body and this is on the surface of the earth, therefore it is being pulled towards the earth. Actually, you do not know what is gravity. Later, gravity has been discovered by, like, initiated by Newton. Therefore, now we are able to understand it is because of gravitational force that object is being pulled towards the earth. But during Aristotle period, he does not know what is gravity. So he just considered that every body is in neutral state. Unless you act an external force, unless you push it or pull it, that body does not move. And in the neutral state, all bodies are being pulled or dragged towards the earth surface. And he also have told that heavier objects are more strongly attracted, so they fall faster. This is one more blunder he have made mistake. Like, of course, with during his time, he may be correct during his time because he have less resources and he is able to think at least these things. So what he told is, you are taking two objects. This is one object and this is another object. Both are released from same height, 1 meter, and here also it is 1 meter. Its mass is 2 kg, its mass is 5 kg. So according to Aristotle, he stated that if two bodies are left from same height, 2 kg mass, as it is having less mass, it would fall, it will take more time to reach the earth. But whereas 5 kg, as it is having greater mass, it take less time to reach the earth. So this 5 kg mass reach faster and 2 kg mass reach slower. So that is one more statement proposed by Aristotle, and this is called Aristotle fallacy. Fallacy means fault. Okay, so first thing what Aristotle have considered is every body which is in neutral will be pulled towards the earth, and all the neutral bodies, unless you act an external force, does not move. In order to have a movement, definitely you need to push or pull that object. That is one mistake. That is first fault. And the second fault which he is giving is, when two bodies are being left from same height, the body which is having greater mass will take less time to reach the ground. It moves faster. Whereas the body which is having less mass, it take more time to reach the earth. That is the second statement. These are called Aristotle fallacies, which are proved to be wrong later, right? So this is about Aristotle fallacy. Now, during his era, when Aristotle have stated these things, no one have contradiction about it because he is famous scientist and he is treated to be as father of physics during that era. Therefore, no one, all his associates and all junior scientists, all people used to follow the same rules. But later, these are proved to be wrong by another scientist named Galileo. Another scientist, Galileo, after Aristotle, his successor Galileo, have proved these two statements which was proposed by Aristotle was wrong. So how he have proved these two statements as wrong and what are the conclusions he is drawing from the activities, we will be discussing in next coming slides. Students, we have learned Aristotle fallacy, where Aristotle's statements were proved to be false by Galileo by using these activities. So what is the activity? Let us learn that. See, now I am taking this figure 1 in this figure, this is figure 1. You have an inclined plane. This is inclined plane. It is an inclined plane. You are leaving an object at position A. This is a ball, and this ball is left at position A. And if you leave this position, and this is a smooth surface, this inclined plane, it is a smooth. It is a smooth surface. When you are leaving this object at position A, just you leave, you are not applying any force. F is equal to 0. There is no external force acting on the body A at that time. He have considered, because there is no question of gravity. Gravity is absent at that time. Like gravity is not known to Galileo. Gravity is not known to Galileo. After Galileo's era, Newton have discovered gravity. At that time, Galileo does not know what is meant by gravity. Now we are able to know what is gravitational force and what is gravity, how does body come down. These all things were known. But that time Galileo does not know. But even then he have proved Aristotle is wrong. So how he have proved? What did Aristotle tell? If you are considering any object, if you push this object, then only this body will have motion. That is what statement given by Aristotle. But now check it up in this figure 1. You are not applying any force. You are just putting this object A, like at this point, you are just leaving it. When you are leaving this, the body rolls, it come to new position B, and it is coming to new position C, and it is coming to new position D, and also it is reaching this new position E. Therefore, body which is starting at A, at some particular height from the ground H, it is going on falling down on the inclined plane, and it is not even stopping at C. It is again reaching to position E, and that means it is reaching to the same height. So from which height it is been falling, from to the same height it is again reaching in upward journey also, right? This is one first figure in this figure 1. Now come to second figure. In figure 2, you are leaving the body at the same height H, you are leaving this body, but what did you do? You have just previously, this is angle. Okay, this is angle theta 1. Now what you are doing is, you are just changing the angle. This is theta 2. So as you are changing the angle, then even at what height you are leaving this body, on the other side to the same height it is reaching upward. And here also there is no force, no push or pull. In this first case, there is no push or pull applied by the person, and in the second case also there is no push or pull applied by the person. And in the third case, if you see, what is angle here? Theta is equal to 0. You are just leaving the body at some particular height, and if you leave this body, it continue its motion. It continue its motion. If there is, like, this body would continue till here or even further, unless this is rough surface, this body continue to be in motion either for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 10 days, any days it can be. If it is smooth surface, then it would continue its motion. So from these three activities, Galileo have stated that body to be in uniform motion. Body to be in uniform motion, it does not require any push or pull. That means, simply literally telling that there is no force acting upon the body, there is no necessary force to be acted upon the body in order to move this body with uniform motion. Next, point number 2. So as in all these cases, body is moving with uniform motion. Check it up. I am not telling that it is accelerating, it is uniform motion. So for body to be in the uniform motion, there is no requirement of force. It itself will be moving because of an external agent. Okay. And point number 2, if you are doing the same activity on rough surface, if you are doing the same activity on rough surface, what would happen? This third activity, come to this figure 3. You are now leaving a body at some height h. As a result, it would fall down, and after coming to some certain distance from here to here, this distance s dash, if I consider, obviously it will come to rest here, is it not? Definitely, if it is rough surface. So if you are taking the last inclined plane as rough surface, if you leave an object at height h, obviously without going on continuing its motion, it is coming to rest position at this point, say P. Therefore, on rough surface, uniform motion is opposed by friction. So on rough surface, uniform motion is opposed by the friction. As there is a friction between these two surfaces is present. As a result, this body will come to rest position after traveling certain distance. That is point number 2. So using these two conclusions, he have defined what is inertia. He have stated inertia. In this first activity, which was done by Galileo, we have proved Aristotle's first statement is wrong, and the Galileo have given that for a body to be in uniform motion under the absence of friction, it does not require any push or pull, it itself will be continuing in the motion. This is first statement. Second statement which was given by Aristotle is, if you are taking a body and if you are leaving it from same height, then in such cases greater massless body will reach first. So for that, what did Galileo do? This is a tower, and it is leaning Tower of Pisa. Leaning Tower of Pisa. So Galileo, he reaching at top of the tower, he have took two objects. He took. One, the greater mass, and the other one, smaller mass. Two masses he have took. First mass is less mass, second one is greater mass. And this is having some height h. Okay. This is practical demonstration demonstrated by Galileo during his period. He gathered all the people and going top of the tower of Pisa, he took two objects of one mass greater and the other one smaller mass. Both are at same height, and he have left this. He have left these two masses from height, and to his understanding, he have drawn the conclusion like both bodies are reaching in same time. So when he left these two balls from same height, both bodies reach in same time irrespective of their masses. Irrespective of their masses, both bodies are reaching in the same time. Time of descent is independent of the mass. Time of descent is independent of mass. Independent of mass of object. Okay, so this is practical demonstration demonstrated by Galileo, and from this activity he have given the statement that both the bodies will be reaching in the same time. Time of descent is independent of mass of the object. Mass does not influence the time for which it is falling down. This is second fault of Aristotle which was proved to be wrong by Galileo. So Galileo have proved Aristotle is wrong. Then Aristotle have, like other scientists, have a question. If you are leaving a feather and a stone in air, if you are leaving a feather and stone in air, feather take more time to fall down onto the ground, stone take short time to fall down. Feather eka. So feather you are taking and a stone, both are left from the same height. Practically you could tell that stone reach faster, feather take more time in air to fall. So why is this happening? It is because air friction. It is because air friction, right? Air opposes the motion of feather. As feather mass is very less, air friction, air opposes the motion of the feather because it is having more area of cross section and less mass. So if there is no friction, both feather and stone, if you leave it at the same height, both will be reaching in the same time to the ground. That was the other statement given by Galileo. So these two activities proved Galileo is correct, Aristotle is wrong. And from these activities, Galileo have framed law of inertia. Galileo have framed law of inertia, and he introduced the concept of inertia. So students, from past few activities, we have learned that a force is not, like, you need not push or pull a body to be in uniform motion, and all the bodies, when they are being left from the same height, they reach in the same time to the ground. And using the activities of Galileo, we have even learned that if a body is in uniform motion, definitely if it is on rough surface, there will be a frictional force which opposes its motion. Whereas if it is a smooth surface, body continue to move for longer time even. And from those, Galileo have introduced law of inertia. So he stated law of inertia, and that is a natural tendency. It is by nature, it is natural tendency to stay at rest or constant motion. So law of inertia states that all bodies will be in their natural state of rest or uniform motion. So all bodies which are present in the universe, they will be definitely in their natural state or uniform motion unless disturbed by external agent. Unless disturbed by external agent, those bodies will remain in their natural state of rest or uniform motion. This is natural tendency, and it was defined as law of inertia. And Galileo is treated to be as father of modern science. Galileo also realized that objects do not stop on their own, but there will be a force like friction or air resistance which oppose the motion. So because of the opposite forces acting on the body which is in uniform motion, they come to rest. So body which is in uniform motion come to rest because of external agent. Body which is in rest come to motion because of an external agent. And bodies will remain in their own state of rest and uniform motion. Remember, I am talking about uniform motion. Body will be in the state of either rest or uniform motion. For uniform motion, there is no necessary of any external force. This was stated by Galileo, and law of inertia states that bodies will be in their natural tendency of either rest or uniform motion unless disturbed by an external agent.